जय ओम विष्णुपाद परिभंसकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य शीला प्रभुपाद की, नाम आचार्य शीला हरिदास ठाकुर की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So welcome to this morning Bhagavatam class. Today we are reciting the verse from Canto 4, Chapter 13, the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj, and the text number 10. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the text 10. Jadanda Badironmatta Mukakritir Atanmati Lakshitapati Balanam Prashantarchir Ivanalaha Jada Anda Badironmatta Mukakrutir Atanmatihi Lakshitaha Pati Balan Prashantarchir Ivanalaha Jadanda Badironmatta Mukakrutir Atanmati Lakshitapati Balanam Prashantarchir Ivanalaha. Prabhuji. Jadanda Badironmatta Kakrutir Atanmati Lakshitapati Balanam Prashantarchir Ivanalaha. Jadanda Badironmatta Mukakrutir Atanmatihi Lakshitapati Balana Prashantarchir Ivanalaha. Jadanda Badironmatta Mukakrutir Atanmatihi Lakshitapati Balanam Prashantarchir Ivanalaha. Jadanda Badironmatta Mukakrutir Atanmati Lakshitapati Balanam Prashantarchir Ivanalaha. Anyone from Jadanda Badironmatta Mukakrutir Atanmati Lakshitapati Balanam Prashantarchir Ivanala. Jadanda Badironmata Mukha Kruti Ratanmati Lakshita Patibalanam Prashanta Chirivanalaha. Word to word meaning. Jada, foolish. Anda, blind. Badira, deaf. Unmatta, mad. Mukha, dumb. Akriti, appearance. Atat, not like that. Mati, his intelligence. Lakshita, he was seen. Pati, on the road. Balanam, by the less intelligent. Prashanta, calmed. Archi, with flames. Eva, like. Anala, fire. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Please repeat. Utkala appeared to the less intelligent persons on the road to be foolish, blind, dumb, deaf, and mad. Although actually he was not so. He remained like fire covered with ashes, without blazing flames. Purport. In order to avoid contradiction, botheration, and unfavorable situations created by materialistic persons, a great saintly person like Jada Bharat or Utkala remains silent. The less intelligent consider such saintly persons to be mad, deaf, or dumb. Factually, an advanced devotee avoids speaking with persons who are not in devotional life. But to those who are in devotional life, he speaks in friendship, and he speaks to the innocent for their enlightenment. For all the practical purposes, the whole world is full of non-devotees, and so one kind of a very advanced devotees called Bhajananandi. Those who are Goshti Anandi, however, preach to increase the number of devotees. But even such preachers also avoid opposing elements who are unfavorably disposed towards spiritual life. Let's do Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Upesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpa tarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing the Canto 4, Chapter 13, where the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj was described. In the previous chapter, we saw the Dhruva Maharaj pastimes. In the 12th verse of the previous chapter, it was mentioned, Dhruva Maharaj, after ruling for 36,000 years, he left the kingdom and he went to forest. He handed over kingdom to his sons. There it was not mentioned who was the son, who took the kingdom from him. Now in the subsequent chapters, it was describing his descendants and who took the kingdom from Dhruva Maharaj. So, and one more important point we need to consider from the previous chapter, when Dhruva Maharaj, after ruling for 36,000 years, he gave the kingdom back to his son and left the forest. Not because of his old age. Even though he was having proper energy, ability, strength to rule the kingdom, but he wanted to renounce. He wanted to focus on bhakti, the devotional path. He wanted to continue. He was already, even though he was ruling the kingdom, he was completely in the Krishna conscious mood. He was ruling the kingdom. But he wants, after 36,000 of years, then he gave the kingdom, not because of old age, but he wanted to continue progress in the devotional path. So then, in today's verse, if you see, it is his the last few verses also, it was described about his son Utkala. And his nature is like, he was always transcendentally bliss. He was always in the focusing on, meditating on Supreme Lord. And he was not at all interested in taking the kingdom from his father. And in today's verse, it was mentioned, translation, if you read it one more time, Utkala appeared to be less intelligent person on the road to be foolish, blind, dumb, deaf and dumb, although actually he was not so. So for outside persons, he was looking like a deaf, dumb and mad person. So all the less intelligent persons on the outside world, they are perceiving this Utkala as like that person. So it is always a issue in identifying, recognizing the pure devotees. Even it's we have seen so many pastimes in Bhagavatam, right? Even in normal sense, like it is people outside our ISKCON community, people think that okay, we are special people, separate people. They don't eat onion garlic, they don't eat any other stuff, not any other intoxicated items, and they always do Krishna, Krishna. So they will think about they treat it as a separate category, separate thing. Similarly, we also think that outside world is mad. They are completely materialistic. But the difference is our views are based on scriptures. Our views about material world is based on the scriptures. But the material world people are their own individual perceptions. They are. So we can always say our views are right because we are taking reference from Shastras. So based on the Shastras, we are thinking outside world is mad, but other people, it's purely their individual perception. So Utkala did not desire to take the kingdom, and he was completely blissful, and he was looking mad, deaf and dumb to the less intelligent person. So when we take these qualities, we also remember another pastime from Bhagavatam. It is Jada Bharat. Even Prabhupada was touching in the purport as well. Jada Bharat, even the Bharat Maharaj, he left his kingdom and he renounced his life, and Vanaprastha, he went to forest, but he got attracted to deer. And then while leaving the body, he was thinking about deer. And then next life, he got the birth as a deer. And after subsequent the birth, and after leaving the next birth, he became a son of a Brahmana. And he knows that because even after taking the birth as a Jada Bharat, he remembered all his past activities, past life incidents. So he was very careful. He was very cautious that he doesn't want to miss the opportunity again. So he was completely detached from the material world. So by saying his nature, many people were thinking it is like he's not a matured person, he's not an intelligent person. People used to treat him as like a less intelligent person or a mad person, right? So people in the neighborhood, they used to see him as a crazy person. And when when he's going on the road, people used to tease him. And not only that, his family members, his stepmother and stepbrother, they used to feed him very old, not a proper food. They were not giving proper food. And then one day, their stepbrother and stepmother asked him to take care of paddy fields in the night time. And then when he was doing that job, the Dacoit group came and he captured Jada Bharat. And they were trying to give the bali to Kali, Jada Bharat. So, but what happened? Devabharat he was not resisting anything. He was not opposing any act of all the people, whether it is people on the road or his stepmother, stepbrother, or these dacoits' actions. They are not at all opposing. But finally, when they were about to cut his head, what happened? The then he intervened and he killed all the dacoits. So, even though devotees, they not responding to any of these acts, Krishna takes care of his devotees. That's what we can see in the. So that is even though outside people will have a different opinion about the people, Krishna is always protecting them. Like this is the example of Jada Bharat. Even we can see the example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing and crying, devotees understand his mood. When he was in Ashtasattvic Bhava, Vikar, he used to exhibit different symptoms in the bodily symptoms. But other side, outside people, all Mayavadi people, what they used to think, oh, he's a mad person, right? So one day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw then one mountain, the sand dune, and he thought it is like a Govardhan hill. And he ran towards it very fast. And his servant Govinda also, he ran towards him. But finally, he visited there. He was in ecstasy. And all the people also behind started running and following him. And after some time he fell unconscious. He fell down on the ground in the ecstasy mode. And this Govinda and other devotees, they sprinkled water and they started chanting. And once he woke up, he said, oh, from this place I went to Govardhan. I was trying to see Krishna's pastimes, how he is taking care of cows in the Govardhan. I saw Krishna is climbing the Govardhan, he is playing flute, all the cows are surrounded Krishna. So he was telling all these things. Devotees can understand Krishna, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what was, but in when a common outside person, it's very difficult. People will think it is a mad person, right? So these are all the various examples where how the devotee community, how the outside world, materialistic people see that pure advanced devotees. Not everybody will see in a right context. They don't understand. Even one more example, we can take the Sukadeva Goswami. He was there in mother's womb for 16 years until he got 16 years. Then when he came out of the mother's womb, he left the house and he started walking on the road. And some people, they used to throw stones and everything, right? But still he was not bothered. But at the same time, when Sukadeva Goswami went to the assembly, Parikshit Maharaj, where he was ready to, just before leaving the body, he was there in the Ganges, banks of Ganges, and assembled all the great sages present. When Sukadeva Goswami entered, all the great people, sages, paid obeisances. So we could see that the devotees, how they can understand the great devotee, how the common people will perceive treat the great devotee. And if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have quite opposite to this, like Pundarika Vidyanidhi pastime. See, in all these cases, Sukadeva Goswami or Jada Bharat and the Utkala in this today's verse, they are all like the materially, not like they exhibited themselves like a materially very renounced and very less intelligent person. But on the other side, we have a Pundarik Vidyanidhi in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was a very rich person. And one day, Gadadhar Pandit went with other devotees. And when the first time he saw Gadadhar Pandit saw Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he thought, how can this person be a devotee? He is very rich, all these clothes and government, all the ornaments, everything. By seeing his opulent bodily things, is all the ornaments and bodily dresses, everything, he thought, okay, this person cannot be a devotee. But when the devotees sang the poem, verse from Bhagavad Gita, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam, then he was, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, at once he became full in ecstasy. How Krishna is a merciful person. He was in deep ecstasy. He fell on the ground. He was rolling. Right? So, this is what we can, and after so many hours, he came back to consciousness. Right? So, with all these examples, what we are trying to say is devotees are there. Advanced devotees are very elevated devotees are. We cannot understand. Even not only outside world, even devotee community also sometimes we fail to recognize. So, this is the characteristic of a highly advanced devotee. They don't bother what other people are thinking, but they will be in their ecstasy, they will be their own bhava. They will always contemplate on Krishna. That is their nature. Now, So it is always difficult. We are having a difficulty in recognizing the people. And Prabhupada was telling one example, like previously was telling, unless someone opens his mouth, we cannot say whether he is a liberated soul or is a materialistic foolish person. Right? So his mouth, when he opens his mouth, we can decide. In this context, I want to quote one pastime from Srila Prabhupada narrated this story. Though it is not directly connected to this topic, just we can to understand. When we open the mouth, we understand who is that person. To make it clear, this is one story. So Srila Prabhupada they mentioned this story. One person in a village, he knows many languages. If any person you speak all the languages, like if you say in India, so many languages, that whichever person you meet, he speaks in that language. And that opposite person cannot recognize whether he is really from a different background. But he thinks that, okay, he's from my native language. So that was his expertise. So entire village, people were thinking, oh, which language, from which background he is. And one day one person came, intelligent person. I will find out who is this person. Then he said, okay. So he took all the people and he started following that. He was that person who is expert in multiple languages. He was walking on the road. And this intelligent person went and he gave a big slap on the back. Then he started shouting in his own language. That is the example we see, right? Prabhupada told it, unless you open your mouth, people cannot see whether you are a intelligent person or a devotee or, so same context we can apply. So this is in the material world, it is always a difficult thing to recognize a devotee. I have got one personal experience. Generally, I was dealing with a service, like a voluntary coordination for all festivals. So few years back, one person called me, and I would like to do service. Then that person, okay, I said, but it need not be on festivals, any other days, normal days also, I'm happy to serve in the kitchen or restaurant. Then I said, okay, come. He found I think couple of days, 1 weekdays he chosen, and he came 1 or 2 days. After once or twice he came to the temple for the service, and after few weeks he called me. Can I get any certificate that I did voluntary service here? We said we don't have any such concept. People are coming and doing the voluntary service. Then he said, if I gave my reference to some person, he will call you about my service in this organization. Can you please tell me why I've done these services? Then I said, okay. He did for a couple of days, once or twice. But when we see this, the person motive, what is the motive, the reason behind? He wanted to get some exposure, voluntary experience. He wanted some certificate. And so that with that he wanted to get something else outside. He did tell me all that. But later I realized when he was, after doing a couple of days service, he called me and told, this is what I wanted. But now, this context, why I am bringing this example is, see, we have many devotees. We are doing so many services. How to differentiate who is doing with the right consciousness, right? It's always difficult. The person came to temple and he did the service. There are many devotees who are sitting here, they did so many services, right? What is the difference? How we can understand? Of course, it's not very straightforward to understand, but underlying difference we try to understand. What is the difference between this guy, the person who came for a voluntary certification and other people, so many devotees doing day and night in the temple service? What is that difference? Let's try to understand. This is a little bit philosophical, but yeah, we try to understand in a simple way. See, Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita, right, different yogas, and Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate path. That is the ultimate, most important path. And we follow all the Bhakti Yoga path, we try to follow various devotional services. And Srila Prabhupada named this organization as a Krishna conscious movement, right? Consciousness is important thing. This Krishna consciousness. Consciousness is important. Your consciousness drives your activities. Right? Suppose, example, in a neophyte state, you are not at all a devotee. You wanted coming to temple. Somebody tells you to come to the temple. You may not be favorable to the temple activities. You may not be favorable to Krishna. But you have a small inclination towards that guy. Okay, this guy told, let's come and see. Right? Your consciousness is dictating your activity. So that person, you don't have any favorable situation to Krishna, you don't have any faith on Krishna, but the person who is telling you, you have a little bit inclination saying that, okay, this person might be good, let's try, his intention might be good, let's see what he is going to, then based on his instruction, you come to the temple. And so what is it? Just a little bit consciousness, faith, you subtle level, you developed faith, and that helped you to come to the temple. Now, after coming to the temple, first time you came, you are very happy. Then your consciousness, your mind tells that, okay, I can come regularly. Then you start coming, you take up the services. What is the main reason? Your consciousness is, your mind is positively tuned. Your consciousness is coming towards Krishna. And then, with that consciousness, you are taking the activities, right? So that then from the Kanishta Adhikari to you gradually coming to Madhyama Adhikari, where you are not doing whimsically, you are not someone is forcing you to do. What is happening? So just your consciousness is driving your activities, right? So similarly, all these people, like great people, the devotees, they don't bother what is happening. Their consciousness is fully absorbed in Krishna. So with that consciousness, they will be, so the consciousness of a devotee is filled with Krishna. That's why Krishna consciousness, right? We deeply absorbed in Krishna. We are completely meditating on Krishna. That consciousness is driving our activities. So our consciousness leads to our activities. Any activity you do, it is not forcibly you are doing. Your consciousness is coming towards Krishna, and then you are taking up devotional service. But in case of the example which I told previously, that person consciousness is not towards Krishna. That's why he came once and he left. So this is one example I wanted to just compare what are the key difference between the advanced devotee and the materialistic person. So our consciousness is important. That consciousness tells. So even Krishna consciousness is not, that's another important thing. We cannot identify devotee by just doing externals, what activities he is doing. So we need to, it's Krishna consciousness is way of life. It's leading the way you lead the life. So by seeing his complete lifestyle, you can conclude whether he is a devotee, or a good, nice senior devotee, or a nice devotee, or it's a materialistic person. Not just by doing his external activities, we cannot conclude you are a devotee or not a devotee. But you, as a Krishna conscious, by seeing complete lifestyle, his activities throughout, by observing his life, day-to-day activities, everything, then only we can conclude, but not just by doing external activities. So that is one of the important things we can take it from this verse and purport. Now, another question might come. So people are driving, with all the devotees, their consciousness is driving to take up various services because they are Krishna conscious. But there are many people without having Krishna consciousness, like example at first which I quoted, people does activities. What will happen to them? Like in one of the examples, I think, again, Srila Prabhupada's pastime, I think previously many devotees also explained this pastime. Once Srila Prabhupada was traveling in a flight, international flight, and his disciples started serving prasadam for Srila Prabhupada. And suddenly, one cabin crew, air hostess came, and she saw something, Prabhupada plate, the puffed rice is there. Oh, this is very nice dish. And then she took something in her hand, and she ate prasadam from Srila Prabhupada plate in the flight. Then, after that, Srila Prabhupada left the flight, he reached his destination, all the thing happened. After few years, some devotees in Europe, I think, somewhere in Europe, they started going book to house, door to door, book distribution. And then he knocked one house, because that area is not having any devotee, no devotees available in that area. It's not, we don't see any temple or anything, no devotees. But one devotee book distribution team went into that place and knocked one door. And one lady, Mataji, opened the door. And when they saw, the inside, the Srila Prabhupada photo is there, Krishna photo is there. And then she invited them, and she told her, then the devotees asked, here no devotees there, how you became Krishna conscious? Then that Mataji was telling the incident, same, the air hostess who took the puffed rice from Srila Prabhupada's plate, she became a devotee. So, even though unintentionally we do many activities, like when you go Harinam, when you do book distribution, when you do Harinam also, many people randomly come and sing, dance with you, chant the Hare Krishna, right? They don't have any knowledge, they don't know anything about Krishna or Hare Krishna or Bhagavad Gita, but still they'll chant and dance. Or some people will take Bhagavad Gita book And this, what is happening, this, you are planting the seed of devotion in their heart. It will grow sometime soon, and you will become a great devotee. So that is the word. So though we do with all the activities with our proper Krishna conscious, but if people are not doing with the proper conscious, still there is a chance that devotional seed will be planted, that will grow sometime. Whether it will be in the same life or next life, we don't know. That only Krishna knows. Now, another important point which in the purport Prabhupada was mentioning, that in order to avoid contradiction, botheration and unfavorable situations created by materialistic persons, a great saintly person like Jada Bharata or Utkala remains silent. So, here the great devotees, they want to avoid many situations, external disturbing situations, they became silent. Here, what do you meaning of silent means? Like in Jainism, if you see, they try to follow Maunavrat once in a year. Right? So that is to stop all material activities. They do Maunavrata, they don't speak for full day. So it is all depending on your ability. Some people try to stay for one day or few hours. Their intention is by stopping all the activities, they will progress in their spiritual path. But when we say here, Srila Prabhupada is not talking at that kind of silent. Like, but when devotee in the Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, it is said, Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantischa Mam Nityam Tushyanticha Ramanticha. Right? So Krishna is saying, right, when two devotees meet each other, they will discuss about Krishna's pastimes, and with that they will get Tushyanti, the satisfaction, and Ramanticha, blissfulness. Right? So the same thing is when Prabhupada is saying that the devotees will be silent, it's not that they never speak. They speak with only devotees, they speak only Krishna conscious, Krishna related pastimes. So that is the Prabhupada's meaning here. Not just, we should not take straightforward meaning that they are silent. Silent to material disturbances. But for Krishna conscious faith, they always discuss with other devotees, and they will discuss the pastimes of Krishna, and with that they will get transcendental bliss, and the devotees will be satisfied. So there are many examples, like, and sometime once Srila Prabhupada, when he was on this planet, he was traveling in the train, and many people started coming and taking blessings. In the train, the people coming are like the materialistic people. They always, whenever in India, like if you see any sadhu, saintly person comes, they will touch his feet and take blessings. Blessings for what? For material things. Some material, they will look for some material blessings to have a good house or a nice job. Like that, with that motive, they will take blessings. Right? So many people started coming and touching Srila Prabhupada's feet and taking blessings. Then Srila Prabhupada told, he understood like the motive of the people, why they are taking. Then he showed his disciples, see, if you take blessings from me, you will become there. Like there are some disciples, brahmacharis there with clean head and the saffron cloth. If you take blessings from me, you will become like those people. Then everybody stopped coming. So this is the incident. Why intention is not to send the people, but intention is the people having the materialistic motives. So to avoid that, to stop getting disturbances to that materialistic blessings, seeking materialistic way of blessings, then Srila Prabhupada told. And another pastime from Rupa Goswami as well. Srila Rupa Goswami, once one person came, he was a very scholarly person. He wanted to debate with Rupa Goswami, and he wanted to defeat Rupa Goswami. Then Rupa Goswami understood his intention is nothing related to Krishna. Nothing, no spiritual progress, nothing. Just he wanted to prove that I defeated Rupa Goswami. That was his motive. Then what Rupa Goswami did? He didn't waste his time. Simply he wrote on a paper, okay, you defeated me, you go away. So that was the mood of a great devotee. They don't want to involve in all these botherations like disturbances. Simply they say silent. Silent, it doesn't mean that they completely stop talking. This is how they make the silent. And then they started, the Jiva Goswami was sitting next to him, and he was observing all these things. Then Rupa Goswami saw Jiva Goswami saw the letter written by Rupa Goswami that, okay, I got defeated by this so and so. But then Jiva Goswami called him separately. He argued with him and he defeated. Then Rupa Goswami called Jiva Goswami, why did you waste your time? I don't want to waste the time. That's why I sent him. You also don't involve in such things. So that was how the saintly persons avoid the disturbance from material world. Like in this context, same, the Jada Bharat or Utkala are in the same situation. They are entrenched, they don't want to waste their time. They know urgency of time, this material world, right? Rapidly moving fast. And once you miss this boat, we don't know how many lifetimes you have to wait to get the opportunity as a human being and coming into the Krishna conscious way. We don't know, right? So feeling the urgency, this Jada Bharat and Utkal, they are exhibiting this characteristic. Another thing is Gaurakishore Das Babaji Maharaj. We know that his pastimes. So he used to avoid the disturbance from all these materialistic people, he used to go to toilets. And he used to sit in the toilet area and avoid everyone so that people will not approach him. So he was fine to bear the dirty smell, and he can chant there, but he wanted to avoid these materialistic people disturbings. Right? So that is the mood of the great people, the great saintly persons. And one day, when Srila Gaurakishore Das Babaji Maharaj in the rest area, and disciples from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati came, and they started knocking the door. Then the Gaurakishore Das Babaji, same thing. These people came for some materialistic blessings, so I don't want to. Then these disciples told, no, we are the disciples from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Then Gaurakishore Das Baba Maharaj opened the door and he gave the blessings. So this is how they respond and react. And the last part in the purport Prabhupada was mentioning about two category of devotees. Like one is Bhajananandi, other one is Goshtianandi. Bhajananandi means they involve in completely doing their own sadhana. And Goshti Anandi is those who involved in preaching. Like should not undermine Bhajananandi. Means okay, they will sit at one place and they do keep chanting, they don't do anything. But that example, you take Haridas Thakur. He constantly, daily chants how many thousands, around 300,000 holy names, right? He chants every day. That is Bhajananandi. Right? So, but what is the potency? When a prostitute came, what he said? Just she was sitting there and listening his chanting. In 3 days' time, she was completely transformed. Right? That is the Bhajananandis. We should not okay, if he is not doing service, simply chanting, we cannot undermine that. The Haridas Thakur example is the best example, where their presence will purify the atmosphere, the environment. That is the Bhajananandi. Whereas in Goshti Anandi, like best example is Srila Prabhupada. He went to America, where there is no person, and he interacted with many people. They don't know anything about Krishna. They don't know anything about Bhagavatam. They don't know anything about Bhagavad Gita. But he has transformed all of the people. He made all those into great devotees, right? That is the potency of Goshti Anandi. Both are rare, but it all depending on the situation, right? So Haridas Thakur also, he distributed holy name. And he's a very saintly, he became saintly person, and he transformed many material conditions. And same way, Srila Prabhupada did the same thing. He transformed many people. And Prahlad Maharaj, also, he was in the completely demonic people, surrounded by demonic people. But still, he was in the Gurukul. All the demonic kids are there, the demon kids. And those people, for those kids, he was teaching. He was asking them to chant holy name, right? So this is how the Bhajananandi, Goshtianandi, both having their respective field, they will be important. We cannot undermine only one category is great, other one is not great. So both are devotees. It's all their mood and different techniques to avoid material disturbances. So it's 8:45. I will conclude here. Any comments? Any? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.